Hey everybody, can this $50 lens converter turn my Viltrox 23mm f1.4 into an 18mm? Or my 56mm into a 45? Let's find out. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Camera Carnage. I'm Ryan from Seymoure Carnage Photography, back with another money-saving hack for my fellow frugal photographers. Like many budget shooters, I love Viltrox lenses. Having a fast f1.4 prime when I'm out shooting in dim nightclubs or doing some night photography is a real godsend. Their sharp autofocus primes for under $300 are a serious bargain, especially when you consider that comparable products from Sigma or Fuji run anywhere from $450 to almost $1,000. I love their 23mm. It's a real workhorse lens for me, but sometimes I need something a little bit wider, and the maximum f2.8 aperture on my XF 18-55 just isn't enough sometimes in darker venues. I was researching some faster wide primes, but it looked like I was going to be on the hook for quite a bit of coin. That is, until I stumbled upon this little gem. Shout out once again to my man Ricky Robinson at 2xR Media for stumbling upon this thing before I did. This Ulanzi wide-angle adapter was designed specifically for the Sony ZV-1 to turn its 24mm lens into an 18mm wide-angle, or into a 10x macro lens. It's a compact, all-metal two-piece system with a 52mm rear thread. The Ulanzi wide-angle adapter just screws onto the end of my 23mm lens like any filter would. It adds about an inch to the overall length and a little bit of weight, but nothing to really worry about. The adapted field of view ended up being right around 18mm, and autofocus seemed to work just fine. I didn't notice any sort of vignetting or light loss by adding the adapter, although there was a slightly cooler color cast versus the bare lens. There's also a little bit of lens distortion, which is to be expected, but it's nothing that isn't easily corrected in post. At first glance, the sharpness looks really excellent and on par with the bare lens. However, at 100% crop, you can see that it's a little bit soft when you're shooting wide open at f1.4. By the time you stop it down to f2.8, the adapted lens is pretty much on par sharpness-wise with the bare lens. Surprisingly, adding the adapter doesn't seem to affect the corner sharpness at all. Very impressive. I also tried it on my Viltrox 56mm f1.4, and it didn't fare so well at that focal length. The new field of view was about 46mm, but the sharpness was extremely poor until I stopped it down to f5.6 or even f6.3. At that point, there's no way that I'd ever decide to use it over my 18-55. However, when I decided to just fit the 56mm with the rear portion of the wide-angle adapter, which is the 10x macro part, that's when things started to really shine. I was able to get down to about a 3-inch minimum focus distance with that combination, and I was able to get incredible detail with super shallow depth of field. I also tried it on the 23mm, and I was able to maintain that minimum 3-inch focus distance and that level of detail, but obviously with a wider frame. So for $50, I can toss this little thing in a bag, and essentially it's like I'm carrying an extra 18mm f1.4 lens with me wherever I go. As a bonus, it also has 58mm thread up front, so I can use all the filters that I already have for my 18-55 or my 50-230. So what are the downsides? Well, it's a little bit soft wide open if you're pixel peeping, and obviously you're going to have to correct the lens distortion in post, but that's really simple to do. It's also not threaded on the outside for a hood, so while a 56mm hood from an 18-55 will fit, you're probably going to need some tape to keep it on. At the end of the day, I think those are pretty small compromises to save $400 and a lot of space in your bag when you're in a pinch, at least as a temporary solution. Anyway, I hope someone out there found this helpful. If you're using this Ulanzi adapter with any other unorthodox lens combinations, go ahead and let me know how it works out in the comments. I'm Ryan from Seymoure Carnage Photography. Thanks for watching this episode of Camera Carnage, and please be sure to like and subscribe if you're interested in seeing more content like this and to help my channel grow. Until then, take care.